What's up, Infected? Welcome to the Kwarenteen. Today we're taking a look at a game that just came out on Kickstarter called Addictive Alchemy. Now, Addictive Alchemy is a competitive deck destruction game where the players are competing wizards just chugging potions and having them combine in their stomach to generate like these special powers to blast each other and do all these special abilities and effects. However, those effects can sometimes turn bad depending on the course of the game. So you kind of have to foresee what your opponents are going to wind up doing and hope that your side effect winds up being beneficial still while it's on your turn. So I know none of this makes any sense. Let's just dive straight over to the overview. In a game of Addictive Alchemy, your goal is to be the last person still alive with cards remaining in your deck and or discard pile. Every time you have to draw a card and you can't, then you are considered eliminated and you're addicted to the potions. Each player is going to gain their own deck, their workbench, and a cheat sheet card that also acts as your scrapyard. They're going to draw 5 cards, and one card goes in, removed from the game in the scrap pile, the other one goes to the discard pile, and then you're ready to play. Now on a player's turn, you're going to perform the actions on the cheat sheet card in order. And on your first turn, the only thing you're going to do is you're going to play your first 2 cards. So you would play, for example, Blinding Cloud, and you'll place it in the first position of your system, and you'll do what it says. So in this one, it says, I unlock all side effects and then lock 2 side effects, which has to do with these, and you are able to stop them from being able to be flipped. And then my next card, maybe I'll play Lightning, so I'll do Lightning. It says 1 discard damage. So the way damage works is this is 1 discard damage. So you're going to take 1 damage from your discard pile and put it out of the game. Now if you don't have a card to discard pile, you don't have to take a damage. So if it said take 1 hand damage, you'll have to discard the card from your hand. If it says a deck damage, you would take a damage to your deck. Now if something says to heal, you're going to take it out of your scrap pile and then put it into your hand. And then at this point, your turn is over and nothing else happens. Each player continues to do the same thing. Then when it comes back around to you and you go through this, you would draw back up until you have 3 cards in your hand. Then you're going to activate your side effect. So if you see here, I played a blue card and a purple card. So we would look up here and we see the blue card and purple card, which is mercurial poisoning. So I get to unlock 1 side effect and then lock 1 side effect, and then all foes take 2 discard damage if their side effect is locked. So I can see what everybody else is about to activate and decide, oh well, I'll lock this one here and this one here. And that way they take some damage. Then these would go to your discard pile, and then you're going to do the same thing over again. I would play, maybe this card and then play this card. When it comes back around to me, I will be activating this as my side effect. However, things get interesting when these cards flip, because the white side is usually beneficial to the person who's going to have that side effect. However, this side is not beneficial. You draw 1 potion and then you just take 2 hand damage. And so that could be devastating, especially if you're low on cards. Now if at any time you're going to have to draw a card and you don't have any in your deck, you're going to take your discard pile, shuffle it up, and then you're going to put it over on this side, and then you're going to draw from that. Keeping in mind that any cards in your scrap pile are removed from the game unless you can heal them back in or something else says otherwise. Also, if a player is eliminated, from the rest of the game, for each player that is eliminated, the players will take 1 discard damage every single turn for each player. So if you're playing with, say, 4 players, 2 players are dead, at the beginning of every round you're going to have to take 2 discard damage before you do anything at all. This is going to continue until 1 player is left that actually still has cards in their deck and or discard pile, and that player would be declared the winner. Alright, Addictive Alchemy. Well, the artwork and the components and everything, we'll start with that, are really good. They're really well done. They're not linen finish, but the cards are pretty thick. All of the art on the game looks very mystic and very old, and then it's also very simplistic. And the overall design for the game, where you're really just doing what the card says and then matching symbols. and trying to kind of outmaneuver based on what you can do, essentially, like the cards you have in your hand. And it winds up being a really interesting mechanic. So overall, yeah, I definitely recommend Addictive Alchemy. That kind of mechanic where you are playing these two cards. You know, you play one, do what it says. Maybe I steal a card out of your deck and add it to my hand. So that's I'm doing a damage to you and I'm making myself stronger. And then I play another one, maybe make you discard a card out of your hand, or maybe your discard pile or something, or maybe your deck, which takes away a really good card or something. I do damage to you, but then you see that I did that. You see what card I'm going to be getting a side effect for. So on your turn, you flip that card. You play something that allows you to flip that card. Now I'm going to get a negative effect because of that. But then that's persistent. Maybe you lock it or something, and then now everybody's affected by that. And we're going around trying to not play this combination of cards, and then sometimes you don't have a choice. And that's such a cool mechanic because it's super simple. Your health, there's no clunky tracks that you have to measure or anything like that. It's if you have cards in your deck, you're alive. That's it. It's very simple, very easy to track. And overall, it's a fantastic little system and an awesome little game. However, the game does have several minor issues. The biggest one being, honestly, is probably this rulebook. The rulebook is not written very well at all. It seems to be a common occurrence for Kickstarter games. There's some things it just doesn't really explain, it doesn't clarify. When splitting up the decks to where each player has their own specific deck, it doesn't really explain that well. I actually wound up having to watch their Kickstarter video to realize that, okay, well, each player has their own individual deck. Okay. Maybe it was me, that's possible. I had two other people take a look at it and they kind of got the same feel from it. It's not written very well. And then on top of that, of course, effectively it's a card game, and it's a very mean card game at that. So some people are not going to like just how aggressive this game is. You are screwing everybody over. That is your goal in this game. And then you tack on the fact that it's a card game, there is an element of luck involved, where you're hoping you get these cards, or sometimes maybe you're forced to play, maybe you have nothing but blue cards in your hand, so you're going to get this side effect and there's nothing you can do about it. And that's going to frustrate some people and turn some people off. However, the game is pretty fun. It seems to just stay its welcome, maybe a little bit over its welcome, but overall it's fairly tense. And kind of on the same stance of where it is a very aggressive game, is the game is prone to screw that guy. We're going to gang up on that guy and we're going to beat him down, and then we're going to gang up on that guy and we're going to beat him down. And so it is prone to that as well. But the last game we played, we formed an alliance, they formed an alliance, and we did it that way. And it wasn't an official thing. We wound up stabbing each other in the back, so you still have that element to it. But it is, of course, depending on your game group, it is going to be prone to those problems. And again, if you don't like really aggressive games where you are directly screwing over that person, then you're probably not going to like this one. But if you're okay with that and you like those systems, that it sounds really neat, the game is a lot of fun. Yes, it's got some minor problems for some groups. Overall, the game is really cool. It's got some really neat systems going with it. The amount of variability with the game is just staggering and just insane, because each type of card, I'm wanting to say there's like 7 different ones. So you have 6 different symbol sets, each with 7 different possibilities that you can randomly mix and match, and it's gonna kind of change the way your game plays. You tired of people healing? Take that one out, add something else in. Nobody gets to heal anymore unless they have the card for it in their hand. You don't like the direct damage and you like to kind of indirectly start hurting people? Take those out, add different ones in. And so you have that element to kind of tailor that game how you'd like, and that's really cool. It gives the game, like keeping power, staying power, I guess is the right word for it. So overall, yes, I definitely recommend picking up Addictive Alchemy. If you're okay with aggressive games, you're okay with player elimination, you're okay with you know, the issues that I mentioned, you're okay with watching a video on YouTube to explain how the game, or how to set up the game, and you're okay with kind of stumbling blindly through this rulebook. Once you get over that, there's a really good game here. It is phenomenal. I definitely recommend it. Anyways, that is my review for Addictive Alchemy. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys next time in the quarantine.